What's going on, everybody? Ross Jackson here with Canal Street Chronicles, continuing to take a look at positions of need for the New Orleans Saints and 3 potential fits that could be immediate impact starters at those positions. We're moving on to a bit of an underrated one here on draft day. Not one that a lot of people are putting near the top when it comes to cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver, perhaps, but still a very important position where the Saints did lose a lot of ammunition over the offseason. Defensive line. And I'm going to go a little bit more specific. I'm going to talk about the interior defensive line to begin. I mean, you look at the defensive lineman that the Saints lost this offseason, Trey Hendrickson. That's definitely a big loss for them. I mean, the guy was nearly at the top of the league in sacks with 13.5, but then you also have to look toward the interior as well. Not only did they lose Trey Hendrickson, but they also lost Malcolm Brown and Sheldon Rankins as well. Those 3 players were among the 6 defensive linemen with the most snaps in 2020. So there's a lot of snaps to replace there. They signed Tano Passanio. They have Marcus Davenport. They've got Carl Granderson and, of course, Cam Jordan. I'm kind of okay at the edge rusher position for them right now. Maybe they invest in that a little bit later, but the interior defensive line is more so what I'm a little bit concerned about. So now we'll take a look at 3 interior defensive linemen that fit the bill for the New Orleans Saints, who may be looking for that penetrating interior pass rusher, that 3-tech, everything that they had in Sheldon Rankins, and a little bit of what they even got from Malcolm Brown. We'll talk about the defensive line as we continue on today. So we'll start off with the potential first rounder here in Alabama's Christian Barmore, about 6'5", 311 pounds, brings a lot of things to his game that Sheldon Rankins also brought to the New Orleans Saints. And with the Saints losing Rankins over the offseason, it's a very important position to try to fill there. It's one of the reasons why we're talking about interior defensive line, but specifically what Christian Barmore brings you as an interior pass rusher. He's a penetrating 3-tech type, has a lot of pass rushing moves, very tenacious, does a really good job. Now, he has had some concerns in terms of character here recently, some questions raising about him resisting coaching, things to that nature. But Nick Saban actually came out not too long ago and sort of clarified that and really denied it altogether, saying that that was not his experience with Christian Barmore at all. So take it for what you will. Christian Barmore could be slipping down boards, depending on if folks believe the rumors. I believe Nick Saban coming out and publicly saying, no, Christian Barmore did not have that experience with him. But if he's available at 28 and the Saints don't move up, which seems pretty likely considering how aggressive the New Orleans Saints are, then you could see Christian Barmore at the bottom of the first be a player that makes sense for them over on the defensive line. Had 10.5 sacks and 19 tackles for a loss over his career and just tested off the charts when it came to his athletic testing. His RAS score of 9.96 really fits the bill for the New Orleans Saints, who love athletic linemen, whether on the offensive side or the defensive side. They love a ton of athleticism in the trenches, and definitely Milton Williams fits the bill there. His 4.67 40-yard dash at 284 pounds and 6'3" for a defensive lineman is really, really impressive. I mean, that's some large linebacker speed, if you will, at the 3-tech position there. So definitely a lot to like about Milton Williams, who could be found at the bottom of round 2 if the Saints stand pat at pick 60 and look to address the interior defensive line there. And finally, we'll look at one more candidate here who could be had probably in the 3rd round. I'm going to cheat a little bit because he's somebody that can actually play on the inside and on the outside. It's 6'1", 280-pound defensive lineman out of UCLA, Osa Odigizua. He can play in the interior as a 3-tech. He can play outside as a pass rusher. Has some really great pass rushing moves as well, including a killer spin move that he put on display all week throughout practices over at the Senior Bowl. So I certainly look at Osa Odigizua as potentially a later round selection that could potentially factor in for the New Orleans Saints. He fits the mold as being a rotational guy that you can maximize and put in a bunch of different positions. The Saints, of course, rotate a ton along their defensive line, so finding somebody that isn't necessarily stuck to one position could be advantageous for them, and certainly could be advantageous for that player's market and fit with the team. Osa Odigizua fits that bill. You also have a few other defensive linemen, including another local guy in Tulane's Cam Sample, who can fit that bill as well. I'll give a quick honorable mention to Jalen Twyman out of Pittsburgh. He's somebody that models his game after Aaron Donald, has trained with Aaron Donald, of course, went to the same school as Aaron Donald. So if you're superstitious and you really like, let's say, symmetry, perhaps, then maybe Jalen Twyman ends up being your guy. He ended up dropping down a lot of boards, even though he was a fringe first rounder going into the 2020 season. But then he opted out of the season, and that has really hurt his stock so far as an interior D-line. So maybe that's another name to keep an eye out on as well. But perhaps you have some of your favorite names that either I mentioned or that I didn't mention. If you have some favorites, make sure you let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure, of course, that you like and subscribe for this video and this channel, because we have a lot more coming on the way here throughout the NFL draft. We're finally here at draft day, day one. You're going to get a recap at the end of the day there. That'll go up the next morning, taking a look at best players available and where the Saints might go after the first round. And we'll continue to keep you updated all throughout the draft here, as well as at CanalStreetChronicles.com, where our writers are doing some phenomenal work as well. So make sure you check us out. And of course, you can always follow me on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. And of course, Canal Street Chronicles at Saints CSC. We'll see you here soon.